So Brad, KineticD's product is resonating with small businesses. What are the issues that you're seeing with enterprises moving to the cloud?
And enterprises are moving to the cloud as well, but it doesn't come without challenges. And some of the surveying that we've done suggests that there are a few challenges that kind of rise to the top. As you can imagine, security always seems to bubble up as a potential perceived challenge for moving to the cloud. And as an offshoot of that, related to security, but it kind of pops up in different places, is the ability to address compliance and regulatory concerns. That's often linked to security, but that's a growing concern as well. Reliability of the service provider, the longevity of the service provider, tends to be of top of mind for larger enterprise organizations. Performance is also rising to the top, particularly when you think about cloud-based backup. So there's a performance issue around recovery. And so I think when you think about performance, there's increased discussion around hybrid solutions to address those performance concerns. And of course, pricing always continues to be a topic of conversation when moving to the cloud. So there are a lot of perceived challenges among enterprise organizations, although they are moving to the cloud.
I agree with you. Security is the #1 concern with our customer base. And in fact, when you start to think about the cost savings of moving to the cloud, whether it be not having to the capital cost of investing in the equipment and the ongoing cost of having to support that equipment in terms of human capital, for us, being able to approach an organization, be able to allow them to push out any capital expenses they may have, and not have to rely on internal human capital to manage a backup solution, specifically tape backup. So our product is really resonating, replacing tape, or in fact nothing at all.
Absolutely, and I was just thinking that, and nothing at all. You know, for smaller organizations, they're attracted to cloud because they may not have anything at all, or they may have some levels of tape. For larger organizations, they may have invested more in either a backup process or an ongoing management of tape. And you're right, there's a longer term, there's a longer tail of operational costs that goes along with that. So they're finding cloud to be very attractive.
I think with SaaS pricing, it's interesting because, as you well know, storage costs have only really gone in one direction, and that's down.
Right.
So storage costs are becoming the cost to acquire servers today is being reduced, I would say, about 20% a year. You would probably know more accurately than I would, but I find it interesting that with a SaaS cloud product, that the costs are obviously always coming down, which is of huge benefit to the end customer.
Absolutely. You know, one of the, as I said, the challenge that is among the top 5 is always going to be pricing, and you know, it can get to be the comparison between on-prem and cloud. There are a lot of factors involved. There's the capital expense up front. There's the operational cost. But absolutely, you know, customers are interested in looking for predictability around pricing, and I think cloud and the subscription model offers that for them.
We also find that with traditional software products, an organization can purchase software, and really the vendor never truly knows whether it's actually being used within the organization. The huge difference between traditional software and a SaaS offering is if the SaaS offering isn't working, the end customer simply cancels.
Right, absolutely. And so, you know, I think the beauty of a cloud model is that there's ongoing improvement to the delivery of the service, and that all comes without any concern to the end user customer, or any further investment, I should say, by the end user customer. KineticD has invested quite a bit over the years in the solution and continues to add features and functionality that is pushing the edge and making that solution better and more attractive and more efficient for the end user customer. So I think that's another reason why it's not only the operational expense, but it's the investment into trying to figure out what I'm going to do. So that's all pretty much all offloaded to the cloud provider.
Absolutely. When you think about some of the features and functionality that have evolved as the product starts to mature, at the end of the day, that's the beauty of a SaaS offering, is that it combines not only the software service solution, but also all future features and product updates and support all rolled into one service.
Absolutely.
So, Brad, in my experience, over the last 10 years, storage costs have come down about 20% a year. And for a SaaS offering, it's simple because we end up passing along those savings to the end customer.
Yeah, it's a great benefit, again, of the cloud model. Just because the storage is being shifted to the cloud doesn't mean that the end user can't benefit from the inherent price erosion that we see every year in the cost of the dollar per gigabyte in storage. So absolutely, when that is when the service provider needs to buy more storage, they're able to pass along those savings to the customer as well.
Yes. A lot of our customers, when they're trying the service for the first time, are quite concerned about making that quantum leap into the cloud with one particular vendor and are concerned about getting locked in with one particular vendor. I always argue that it makes us have to deliver a seamless product to the end customer, or else they'll simply cancel and move somewhere else. What are you finding with enterprises?
Yeah, they certainly want a solution that works, and as I mentioned before, with some of the challenges that rise to the top, they're concerned about longevity of the provider and of the solution. Ultimately, they want to have a sense of control. They do want to offload the operational and some of the capital spending and the management of the storage, but at the same time, they want that level of control. So they are avoiding, and they don't want to feel that they're locked into any solution as well. So we're seeing the same thing, and they like the ability to know that if they needed to adjust and migrate things, that they can do that easily.
For us, it's a bit of a dichotomy because in some ways we're trying to provide a sticky product for the end customer. And if we do our job right, our customer's never going to leave. But at the same time, we have to give them the flexibility of being able to cancel the service and be able to move to another vendor easily.
Right. And I think this is where the importance of having an ecosystem comes into play, and partnerships, and offering things like open APIs to allow your partners to work, who are working most closely with the customer, to offer that flexibility, to really engage with the customer and understand what their needs are, and to be able to offer those types of solutions so they can ultimately accomplish what they need to do.
For small businesses that don't have any legacy systems in terms of IT, that are looking to back up for the first time, going to the cloud is a simple solution. There's no hardware costs. There's no ongoing human capital cost. We find with bigger enterprises that there is a little more hype around cloud computing today based on the fact that they do have legacy systems in place and aren't easily able to move to the cloud as freely. And often it's simply communicated as security reasons. They're uncomfortable allowing data outside their domain. Are you finding that it's more of an excuse for bigger businesses, or is it a reality that they're concerned about, truly concerned about security issues?
Well, I agree on your comment on small and medium businesses. They have less to undo, so it's a bit of an easier shift for them. In the enterprise, they may have already invested in a lot of technologies and solutions to address their storage needs. And they do have those challenges, that we talked about around security and reliability and performance and so forth. But a lot of those challenges are perceived, because the reality is that they are investing in cloud. And in fact, we cloud is well beyond the point of critical mass at this point. In 2010, we sized cloud-based backup to be just under $1 billion, almost $1 billion, certainly $1 billion, just over $1 billion by 2011. And by 2015, we have it growing to about $3.3 billion. So that's over 30% growth. So I think it speaks to the adoption and the interest of cloud-based storage across the board.
Do you find that enterprise are concerned, do you find that enterprise, there's a reluctance to moving to the cloud because the decision makers in IT are concerned about losing their own jobs?
That's part of it. That's part of it. It's funny, we hear more and more about executives within the larger organizations coming to the table and saying, so where's our cloud solution? We need cloud. And that often translates into, well, what does that mean, exactly? So I think, it's a little bit of both ends. They do have, there is some job protection concerns going on. There's also the investment in legacy, a tremendous amount of investment into legacy solutions. But that I do believe, when we did our surveying a couple of years ago, the very large organizations had very little interest in cloud-based storage. And that was due to the investments that they had made into on-premise solutions in the data center. A year ago, when we had repeated that same survey, the interest and adoption in very large organizations had tripled from about 6% up to 18%. So tremendous growth even in a large enterprise, and that's now pervasive across the board.
With KineticD, we have a SaaS offering, and we also sell a software offering. Do you think that bigger enterprises are more interested in buying a software solution that they can host in their own data center, or are they now ready to let data outside their own domain and use a third-party vendor, an infrastructure as a service partner, for example?
Right, and that's a great question. We address that quite a bit, and the reality is that it is both. Not all data is going to live outside the walls of an organization. We do find that things like online backup or cloud-based backup is very attractive as something as secondary storage and providing that data protection and often a bridge to a further disaster recovery type of solution. That is, we're finding a natural fit for organizations to move out into the cloud. But their primary data, perhaps transaction data, it depends on either their level of comfort around security, their level of comfort around performance. Not all data is going to be moving to the cloud. But what they do want to do is leverage that cloud model and the benefits of the utility model, the scalability, the management of maintaining that type of model internally. So we are seeing the rise of private clouds and so forth. And the ability to link those two together is of increasing importance. So things like hybrid solutions become important moving forward.
Yes, disk to cloud.
Yes, yep, absolutely.